Why did you leave me?
So, what do you guys think of the panic attack?
Panic attack?
Yeah, the panic attack. It is a gun.
On December 22nd, 2014, Team Fortress 2 received a huge Smithmas update, bringing in a variety of new things, one of them being the panic attack. Originally, the weapon was a multi-class substitute for the stock shotgun with the gimmick of being able to shoot out of 4 max shells, preloaded with the reload speed depending on your health, with the downside being that the bullet spread increased depending on your missing health. The now reworked panic attack took all the unique and flavorful design of its predecessor and yeeted it out the window with the fixed bullet spread for both casual and comp and a faster weapon switch. The reworked panic attack went from being your odd uncle you only see at big family gatherings to the boring and less successful brother to the shotgun. Comparing the philosophy behind post and pre-rework, the panic attack lost its foothold as a fun gimmick weapon. So, now where exactly does the panic attack fit into Team Fortress? Unlike most shooters, Team Fortress 2 has a setting in competitive matches that removes random bullet spread for shotguns and scatterguns, making them much more reliable and usually take a fixed shape. Compare this to a game like CSGO, where recoil, bullet fall off, and damage fall off are all profound mechanics for shotguns that pound in the center rails on with their gunplay. Team Fortress 2 shotguns are only really affected by damage fall off and random bullet spread, and even that becomes false in a competitive setting. They're not snipers or miniguns, so if you're playing the Russian bear guy expecting to outrange some portable urinal Aussie sniper from across the map, the probability of you being able to not only land all your shots because of the spread, but win the skirmish is pretty much non-existent unless, well...
Oh. You did it. You did it.
Okay, with that in mind, I'd like to draw attention to the question, where does bullet spread correspond with the panic attack? For this segment, I would like to draw attention to this little thing right over here. Random bullet spread on weapons like the Frontier Justice, Reserve Shooter, or Stock Shotgun, while normally ignored, can actually make more of a difference than you think. If bullet spread is the bread and butter of making those clutch precise heat of the moment meat shots, random bullet spread can be the true dictator of those final few milliseconds. Instead of a reliable bullet spread pattern, RBS basically says eat shit and die, makes you miss about 60% of your pellets. The legendary pro hockey player Wayne Gretzky once said, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." Well, joke's on you, hockey boy, I miss all of my shots because of RBS. This is the most detrimental and casual where RBS is left on. Now, I'm all for giving some leeway and providing fair and balanced mechanics to help encourage and improve out the player base. However, keep them off is ironically one of the primary reasons why the panic attacks become less of a situational and casual, and more of a close side grade for skirmishes and finishers. The panic attack's fixed bullet spread pattern gives it an upper hand when it comes to decision making in the fray of the battle. This, along with the faster deploy speed than the stock, provides a more efficient way to finish off your close range enemies, without a situational gimmick like the Reserve Shooter or the Frontier Justice. In a chaotic shooter like TF2, efficiency is key. Being able to tweak out the small increments of time between fights gives you a better understanding how to approach most situations. Now, all that sounds pretty great. Why would you not want an alternative to get the job done quicker? Well, to answer that question, we have to look at that red flavor text that's right over here. The panic attack has a 20% damage penalty, and that brick-shaped bullet spread spaces out much faster than stock. With that, the panic attack's reliability is put into question at mid-range fights. It bluntly tells you that when you use it. However, if you look into it, the panic attack's downside isn't really a detriment considering this 5 extra pellets this thing doles out. Now, bear with me for a moment as I bring up the scariest part about this whole video. The statistics. The side-by-side shot comparison shows panic attack lacks in damage per pellet. Its upside comes from the amount of pellets per shot compared to the stock shotgun. On the screen you can see the damage output differences as well as the various ranges for them. Now let's focus on the close range damage output. So for the sake of this video I want to focus on the 180 damage output this thing can cap out at its best range. Compare this to the stock 90 and that's an 18 damage difference. And it might not seem like much, consider how many times in oof playing Sully and your opponent survived with a sliver of health because that meat shot just wasn't meaty enough. This also makes it possible to 3-shot close range heavy, so within the confines of these moments, being able to whip out your weapon fast enough and pump out around 200 damage can put you in a favorable position and not leave you groaning in frustration. The other downside to this weapon that isn't super noticeable is that with each shot, every successful shot becomes less accurate. What this means is that with each follow-up shot, the bullet spread of your panic attack becomes less accurate and condensed. While slightly off-putting to use compared to the stock shotgun, it's nowhere near as bad as something like reduced clip size or ammo penalty. However, even with all of this, the panic The panic attack seems to act more like a boring side grid stock. However, I'd like to rebuttal this reasoning with the idea that the panic attack isn't supposed to be used in the same vein as stock. Instead, it favors a more aggressive playstyle and rewards players to use it in a more dominant role. Shotguns are supposed to be used as a secondary source of damage, hence why it's in the secondary slot for all users save for the engineer. But his source of DPS should be the sentry anyways. It's supposed to be the second to last resort in a fight. The accuracy penalty is negligible, and the damage penalty, while a whole 20%, isn't noticeable while you're inches away from that poor sniper's face. The panic attack rewards the user who doesn't let its cons hold him back. It rewards players by teaching them to land their shots and never letting up on your opponent. If you're out there using the panic attack to poke from a distance, first off, why? 2 of the 4 users, the NG and the Pyro, are either a medium-range Flaming Hot Cheeto or a small Texan Bean who defends his babies with his life. The other 2, Sully and Heavy, have A rocket launcher that plays better at medium ranges, and B, a literal minigun. If your intended purpose of the shotgun is to poke, or you're trying to disable yourself more, you're already a gamer wasting their time with The last point I would like to address would be the practical usage for the weapon, more specifically the maps and the areas. Though this is not just bound to the panic attack, most shotguns should not be used as often as other alternatives when it comes to wide and open maps. The Heavy got their sandwich, Pirates have their flare guns, Sully with his boots and banners, and Engineer with, for the most part, his nest. Smaller maps with flank routes for easy mobility for soldiers, or bottleneck or enclosed rooms for the other 3 should be the go-to places for the aggressive playstyle. What differentiates panic attack from the other shotgun is, as stated earlier, close combat potential over the others. Being able to swiftly rocket jump and dive their medic or bombard a room as a Heavy or Pyro doesn't always come with the outcome we perceive it should be. Having a plan B that can finish the job quickly can prevent you from looking like a failed suicide mission. On top of that, I'd like to draw attention to the underappreciated and unjustly hated Flying Scout, which is actually really fun, and no, it isn't because I can't land my gardens either. All in all, the panic attack is a perfect side grade for shotgun users in casual mode. Since you wouldn't be caught dead with this thing in comp or MVM, its potential threat in pubs make it a better alternative for a more aggressive player who desperately craves those sweet frags, or just really wants to see how much personal space they can violate before clueless enemies realize they're about to eat away their health. And while I'll instantly appeal to you, give it some time before you stash it away with all the other broken and sad weapons, even if someone calls it boring or dumb. Big thanks to my boy Vinny and Binary Beatdown for helping me make this video. If you guys liked it, hit like and subscribe. If you didn't, just tell me why in the comments. This is my first time doing anything like this, and I'd appreciate any feedback you guys could give. Other than that, here's some leftover footage I had. Enjoy, and I'll see you later.
2, go. Did you get that? Oh, we got scout. Kill our man. What? Okay, thank you, Noodle. Painkiller, 1 noodle. Noodle. I am.